All right, so we're live and we're with Dante Leon. And for those who don't know Dante, Dante is a world champion. He's a Kasai Pro champion, and he is a ADCC vet now.
Yeah.
So, start us off, we had talked to Dante earlier this week, and Dante was nice enough to agree to play a little game with us. So, it's going to kick us off, and it's half the questions are about jiu-jitsu, and half the questions are about Canada, because for anyone watching who doesn't know, Dante's from Canada.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know, but more and more are starting to figure it out now.
Well, man, I like it, because I don't know if you pay attention to comments and stuff. I like calling you a moose, because you're the only Canadian grappler I actually know, and a moose is my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
animal.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, Dante, our first question is half of Canada's landmass is made up of forests. Because of this, blank is among the main exports of the country.
Paper.
Timber, sir.
I thought too deep.
Okay. Translated, what does the term jiu-jitsu mean?
I don't know. Grappling, wrestling.
Gentle art.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm terrible. I'm 0 for 2 already.
I actually didn't know that one either, and I was like, oh, okay. Google's our friend.
Yeah.
This Canadian city is the world's largest French-speaking city after Paris. You know it?
Montreal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Dang headphones. Okay. In what year was the IBJJF founded?
96.
I read 2002.
Really?
That's what I read on their website.
Dang. The first Worlds was 96. So I thought it was IBJJF, but I guess not. 1 for
That
4.
well, I'm gonna look
You want
into it, and if you're right, I'll correct the score.
No, you're probably right. If you found it online, it's probably true.
Okay. And when and where was the first ADCC World Championships held?
First ADCC was 1998, and I believe it was in Abu Dhabi.
Correct. Okay, final question. There's around 220 car accidents annually that involve this Canadian animal. What is it?
Oh, a moose.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. It's not always good for the driver either. Moose are like, not like hitting a deer,
dude.
especially like a really big deer.
I was gonna say, man, they're huge, and from what I've seen, cars usually don't survive that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. They are huge.
So, with that getting us started, I'd like to start off with kind of talking about what growing up in Canada was like and kind of that little aspect because I like to get to know what got you over here.
Yeah. So obviously, growing up in Canada and then compared to where I live, so anybody doesn't know, I live now in Toledo, Ohio. So Midwestern United States, and I grew up in Southwestern Ontario, Southern Canada. It's very similar. I mean, now with the coronavirus and borders being closed, I haven't really been able to visit family, but I can visit family quite often because I'm only about an hour to an hour and a half away, door to door, from where I live now to where I am. So, how I grew up was very similar, probably to how you're familiar with, even where you're at. It's very similar. I grew up kind of in the county. I grew up more in like a farm town. So my life is a little bit different than kind of the areas and places I am now because, I lived out in the middle of nowhere. There was really nothing around me. I had a farm, had some animals, stuff like that. So
I
Growing
feel
up
that.
was, yeah, I mean, growing up was, it's like I said, even though it is a different country, it's quite similar to Midwestern USA. So the transition over here was quite easy for me. And definitely not a place where you commonly hear about somebody doing jujitsu or any kind of thing like this. Because even in Canada, wrestling's not really a big thing at all. Very few high schools had it, and there was very few like prospects coming out of high school wrestling wise from where I grew up.
So how did you get into, if it wasn't a common thing there, how did you get started in jiu-jitsu?
So my dad had always trained martial arts. It was kind of like his thing. He did it for many years. And the one martial art he really never touched on was jujitsu. So he thought if he were to go back and do it again, he would have visited Jiu-Jitsu Academy when he had the chance to, or when it was available. So when I showed that I was kind of transitioning out of some sports, my dad made a suggestion to do Jiu-Jitsu. You know, my mom also made some suggestions like golf and piano lessons and stuff like that. So when my dad said Jiu-Jitsu, I was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't want to play golf, or I don't want to do piano or anything like this. I'll do whatever. So I tried jujitsu, and then it was just kind of just from that. I kind of really liked the first class, and everything just kept building and growing from there.
That's cool. I think I heard on a podcast that you had originally started training around Detroit. What made you move or transition from Detroit to Toledo?
So where I was first, I was in Canada training, and the gym I trained at was a really good school. They got me started out really well, but the more I did jujitsu, like the more I wanted to train, the more I wanted to compete, the more I wanted to do all kinds of things. So I just started to do some cross training. It was in the same affiliation as me, so it wasn't necessarily frowned upon. Because you got to remember, jujitsu was not really as lax or as open minded as it is today, even though it still might not be what it should. It was really not like that back in the day. It was like if you were going to train in another gym, you had to make sure it was in your association or something like that. So everywhere I trained was in the same association. I'd mix my training in when I was younger between Canada, Detroit, and as well as Toledo. Um, through time, I ended up kind of like growing out of certain programs and growing out of certain places. And I ended up almost full time in Detroit. And then when I switched teams, I was there for quite a few years training. And then I ended up coming out to
Uh-oh. I think Dante froze on us.
start my own training. So, I mean, it was cool to get the experience at all the other different gyms and a mixture of all the different things, different styles that I had available to me back then.
I'm sure, especially if they had like the old school mentality, like what you're talking about. So I
What's
know
that?
that. Can you hear me?
Kind of cut out.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit too. Can you hear me now?
You there? I didn't hear you.
Yeah. Can
Sorry. It cut
No,
out.
you're good. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
this is
cool,
better.
awesome. So especially with that they had the old school mentality, like what you're talking about, because Joe and I have kind of talked about that a little bit. Like back then, it was super frowned upon to even try to think about cross training. Um,
Yeah.
I know that Kelly Highmore and Gutenberg, I can't pronounce his last name, but I know those two have been really big influences on you. So, how did you get to meet them and kind of talk about what it's like getting to train with Gutenberg? Because Gutenberg is like super good.
Yeah, so I met Kelly. I've known Kelly for a very long time. I've known Kelly since I was about uh, 12, 13 years old. So it was really cool to get to um, work on something with him. We kind of had an idea to build something here and have a good thing between training and having an academy and having professional level training. So we've had that. Now in Toledo, it's Kelly and I here, and we're building a good team. And and doing good things here. It's really, really good. It's really good. It's something different. Something it's not unique to the area because jiu-jitsu's been in the Midwest for a long time. But it's cool to bring kind of a different feel. I think jiu-jitsu itself is changing, like overall, as far as professional jiu-jitsu and grappling and things like that. And I think we're bringing a little bit of a taste of that, a little bit of some of that culture here.
That's good. With that being said, I seen that the other day you did a walkthrough of the new gym on Facebook. So how long has that been in the making? And kind of tell us a little bit about the new place.
Oh, the new place has been in the making for a really long time. It was just um, when you're always going to a new business, there's always some curveballs that have been coming out. So there's things
Right.
like that. And then obviously a huge curveball would be this whole COVID
Yeah.
19 thing. So, but it's been in the works for a long time. We've been trying to keep up to date on it, and it's looking like it'll be ready pretty soon. Obviously, nobody really has exact dates on a lot of things as far as when jiu-jitsu
Right.
gyms open or things like this. So it would be wrong of me to tell anybody an exact date of when, but soon. I'm thankful to all my students and all the people that I have around us that have been really, really good during this time, and making us able to open our doors again to the public. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I said, man, it looks like a really good space, really big, super nice
Huge,
from what,
yeah.
yeah, it looks like a lot of mat space. So we mentioned ADCC earlier. Let's talk about your
hmm
experience at that. What was that like? I mean, I'm sure that was a big deal for you.
Yeah, ADCC is the grappler's dream. It's the one that
Right,
everybody just wants to go there just to like say they've been invited or say they competed there. That in itself is something that's worth its weight in gold, man. That's bragging rights right there, just to say that you were
right.
there competing. So really cool to be able to get out there. But I had a great experience. I had some great matches and super
They
tough
looked
division.
insane.
Yeah, definitely one of the most stacked divisions I think ever, you could say, as far as any
Right.
grappling tournament. So many really, really tough guys, really good guys, legends, like loads and loads of legends through that tournament, and it's something you don't really see at any other tournament. It's definitely a different level. It's definitely kind of different swagger than any of the other events.
I'm sure it looked nuts. And like, I've loved just watching you compete, dude. It's so intense. It's just awesome, especially watching you get to go, like you said, like legends like Gary Tonin and Wagner. It was awesome.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. I mean, there's just a lot of it's the best of the best. It's every 2 years.
right,
So if there's something that can kind of emulate another sport's Olympics or a World Cup, that's like our ADCC. So
right.
that's what it is.
That's what I've tried to explain to people who don't train or don't know that it's like the Olympics of jiu-jitsu, and they're still just like, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
But and then I lost my train of thought. Uh, oh God. So with where you had ADCC and all that, I'm sure me and Joe's been up to your school before, and training there it's intense. There's a lot of high level dudes, but when you got something like ADCC coming up, can you kind of talk about how that like ups your training or like makes stuff a lot more serious?
When there's a tournament around the corner, it just changes kind of the it kind of has to change your mental outlook on training. You can train hard all year round. I don't care what anybody says. You can definitely train hard all year round. The intensity just needs to adjust, and your mindset needs to adjust. So, I mean, I don't really think it changes too much outside of your mindset, your outlook on the training, and your intensity. I think you should continue doing everything else that you do in the meantime when you're just doing it regular. Just when tournaments come around the corner, you just need to make a few adjustments. So I'm always training pretty hard. I'm always training regularly, multiple times a day. I'm always trying to keep on a schedule like that. So when tournaments get closer, I just train a little harder, do some things different. If I need to worry about my weight, which ADCC I kind of had to, I make changes in my personal life and my life outside the gym too, my fitness and diet, and go from there.
Got you. So trials is supposed to be this year, right? Are you planning on hitting that up?
For the trials, probably
Yeah,
not.
probably not.
Probably not. Honestly, I have a lot of things going on right now, and I mean, if I have to do it, if I have to secure my spot that way, I would be down for sure. But I got fourth place in ADCC, so I can rely on being a pretty high seed in the bracket, and then kind of work in the meantime. It's once every 2 years, about a year and a half away. 18 or 19 months to work and get better, and come back with a better result this time.
And see, I love how positive you are about stuff because I don't think I've ever heard you say one negative thing about anything forever. So,
I say a
but
lot of negative stuff, but I mean when we're talking about jujitsu and everything like
right,
that, and given the time being, it's good to be a little more positive than usual. I mean, everything's gloom and doom these days,
sure,
and rightfully so. I mean, everything's kind of a mess right now. Everything's kind of a shit show.
right.
So really easy to get negative, really easy to kind of look down, gloom and doom, like I said. But you know, cool to stay a little bit positive and keep things nice.
Yeah, it's a good mindset to have. So what after all this is over, which of course nobody knows a set time frame for when that's going to be or anything. Do you have anything specific you're wanting to hit up next as far as competition wise, or just kind of going with the flow?
Well, I love the pro events that I'm a part of. You know, all of them. You know, Kasai, Grapple Fest, Fight to Win. Um, you know, everybody's seen me on all those multiple different shows. There's other ones out there that I haven't been a part of yet. Of ones I'm kind of in contact with and would love to take part in. So it's looking like jiu-jitsu events are on the horizon. Saturday and this Friday and Saturday are the next two fights. So they're right around the corner. They're here. If you've been training or not, you know, come get it. We can definitely have some matches. You know what I mean? Everybody who's been out there, I know there's a lot of guys who've been
Oh
training
yeah,
still. I can see that guys are just dying to compete, man. I feel the itch myself. So I think that it's going to be I think it's going to kind of blow up this professional fight scene even more while tournaments are kind of died down and not allowed to happen. And we're
yeah,
going to have basically 2 months where everybody else who wants to compete in a tournament sitting at home are going to be watching a bunch of dudes fight on TV for no crowd, basically at the arena, but like for everybody back home. So professional events are here. This week we have our first wave. And for every single week after this until June 30th, there's a professional show, at least one every weekend. So, I mean, it's just going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy.
oh absolutely. Like you said, I firmly believe that all the brackets are going to be full now. There's not going to be a reason to not compete. It's like you took so long off. Guess what? Now's your chance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's you can see Third Coast is putting out these 8-man tournaments and these 8-man kind of invitational type things.
Yeah,
They're trying to have events every weekend pretty much for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Fight to Win is right back onto a super busy schedule of a show every weekend. The list can go on. You know, we don't really see anything from some of the other pro events, but I'm sure they're either
right behind
getting ready
them.
to come back or they're coming right behind. So we don't see anything about tournaments. It looks like tournaments are going to be a while because it's hard to control how many people are going to be in one place, right?
Right.
If it's a professional event, it's a closed arena. They can kind of let you in and tell me I can't get in if I'm not essential or I'm not somebody who's there to compete. So with tournaments, it's hard to do that, especially when you're running out such big places and you have so many people on your staff. So I think these professional events are going to take over for a little while.
I firmly agree with you. It's going to be a big deal. I really think the hype's going to be more intense than ever with all stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
You can see the IBJJF, they usually have a lot of their tournaments in like California. When they come
Right,
out this way, they like to go a lot to these places like Chicago, New York. They're in New York like 5, 6, 7 times a year. I mean, these are the places that are hit the hardest, and you're going to have the toughest restrictions and the toughest guidelines around certain things. So it's going to be hard to run tournaments. It's definitely going to be hard to run tournaments in places like California and Vegas, where if you open your doors, you're going to have 10,000
right.
people there. They've already postponed so many tournaments, so they're going to be in a really tough spot. And not just the IBJJS specifically. I'm using them as an example. I think everybody's going to be in a tough spot to try and run just a regular bracketed tournament. I mean, even if we look locally, we see how many people Grappling Industries gets or
Right.
Fuji get, and then what are they gonna have to close the doors off to the public? Well, that doesn't make sense because people have to show up to compete. So it's
Exactly.
definitely tough. It's definitely tough.
So, something I kind of want to get into because I'm not I'm not downing this specific promotion or anything. It's just for people watching who want to compete on a professional level, they can kind of take away something from this, or I'm hoping they could. So I believe it was last year with that whole fiasco with Substars and where they
Hmm.
didn't necessarily pay athletes like they had said they would. Um, is there any kind of like warning signs to watch out for as far as like promotions that might do that, or is it just kind of one of those things that you gotta take a grain with salt when competing?
So the sad part about jiu-jitsu is that it's not established. We're not MMA where we have these companies that are behind people that are worth billions of dollars. A lot of our tournaments are started by like independent investors and independent contractors, basically these guys who they have some money, they have a passion for jiu-jitsu, and they're starting to run some things. Shit can go south at any time, money can
Right,
dry up pretty quick, things can happen. So do you need to be like cognizant of this? Yeah, you shouldn't walk into things blind, but this is the fact of what it is. I mean, people are running jiu-jitsu events. They're not million-dollar companies. They're not billionaires for the most part. You don't have these people who are worth crazy amounts of money. I mean, we have a small community. The community's growing. I see the scene growing every day, but it's just
absolutely.
unfortunate that things like that would happen and kind of leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth, especially during kind of like a growing session. You know, I don't know what happened in this situation. I kind of just feel bad for everybody. I don't want to see a jiu-jitsu promotion go out of business because we
Right.
need more of them. I don't want to see people not make their money because they deserve it. They're professionals. All kinds of things like that. So, what can you look out for when you go there? And I mean, hopefully you trust the person and hope that if you get with a real brand, like a notable brand out there, if you're with a Kasai, if you're with Grapple Fest, Fight to Win, uh, they're not going to stiff you on money, believe me. For example, the first thing Seth does after you get off the mat is win, lose, or draw. He cuts you a check right there. You know what I mean? Or he pays you right on the spot. So he's never gonna he's never gonna like backdoor you or not pay you or anything like that. That's his priority number one is making sure you get paid and you're taken care of. So these events are really good and these events are moving things in the right direction. They're just not at the level yet where they can put people on contract, pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, have
Right.
all this backup for it. So it's just unfortunate. It's just a thing you just kind of got to look out for and hope doesn't happen to you.
Right. Like you said, I do feel bad for that promotions that end up happening like that. Because man, it is hard to run tournaments, and especially making sure everything runs smooth and making sure that you stay within the budget. It's so easy to get out of hand with it. Um,
True story.
so would you say that competing locally or even just like at IBJJF is kind of what got you in connection with those kind of tournaments, or what? How would you say you got involved in bigger tournaments like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I started out competing, there wasn't a whole lot of events like this. It was still in the days when I was big into jiu-jitsu that if you didn't win like this black belt world championship at the IBJJF, if you didn't have a pan title, if you didn't have all these international opens, then You weren't really anybody. It didn't really matter. The majority of the fan base, the majority of the sport, kind of looked down on these other events that were trying to do. 5 and 6 years ago, they were trying to do what these events are doing right now. Nobody could really see the way the sport was going to go, and I think that a lot of people that were competing locally and competing in IBJJF kind of switched gears and went more towards this kind of style, this kind of like submission only professional grappling kind of promotions and tournaments.
I feel you. I feel like people are like really aren't fans of the rule set in IBJJF, and I feel like that some of these promotions where they allow, like reaping or heel hooks, they feel like they got a little bit more freedom with that. So I feel like that might be some of the reasons of why that's kind of taken that turn too. Um, so when you got this stuff coming up, or even when you don't have anything coming up, I know you like to bring some people in to like cross train. Can you talk about when you do that? Do you have a certain, like, for sure you want to be sure you're safe about your cross training, but do you have certain people you specifically look at and like, oh man, I want that guy in here. That guy's good.
Yeah, for sure. But everything, there's a lot of money to just have people come in and out. If you want to do like these fight camps and everything, and it's a good way to get burnt out or create kind of like a shitty environment. So it's good to bring people in and out of your gym. It's good to bring different looks into training. It's good to go different places and get different looks. All I'm really looking for is somebody I can stay safe with training and somebody who can help me work on something. They don't need to be the toughest guy in the world. They don't need to be able to beat the shit out of me just for me to train with them. They just have to have something to kind of offer me. The rest of my game plan, the strategy, training, conditioning is kind of all up to me and the other people around me. So um, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of good guys out there that I could bring in that could really help me train that aren't anywhere near the best in the world. So, everybody, if you treat training the right way, you can get something out of training with anybody. And if you treat training the right way, you can make the most of something that other people would kind of fail with. So that's what I focus on.
Got you. Now, when you do have stuff coming up or anything, do you like? I know people are like really big on studying, as you should be. When do you like study your opponents and look at stuff that, of course, could help you, but do you implement that in training too, or is it just kind of you make up your own game, you trust in your own game, and you stick with that?
You have to build a game. So I do a lot of studying, and I've done so much studying and continue to do so that if I get matched up with competing against somebody, there's not a whole lot of homework I really have to do. I've pretty much studied more jujitsu than a lot of people could imagine. I do this kind of studying thing. I do this every day, sometimes for hours a day. So because of that, um, I don't really need to like up my studying what's so much when fights get closer. Maybe make it a little more specific, but I'm always doing a lot. And then you have to bring some of those things. You always have to bring what you study and what you're telling yourself you want to practice and get better at. You have to bring that in the gym and really try it. That's the only way you're going to get better at it. So I try a lot of things. My training is very, very different. Some days you could come in and won't even look like me. I might suck and get tapped out by everybody, and then another day I might look like I'm the baddest dude on the planet. It all depends. Everybody has their day, and you have to use training to
Absolutely.
work on those certain things. You have to use training to work on those certain things. It's not about coming up and puffing your chest on anybody. It's about coming into the gym with a goal in mind and working towards that.
Absolutely, man. One thing I really love about you and your style is that I feel like what makes you so dangerous is you have so many submission wins, but they're also with all kinds of submissions. You don't just have one specific you go to. You're dangerous from everywhere.
Yeah, I
So
try to. I think that's because I've trained a lot of jujitsu. I've done jujitsu for quite a while now. Um, I think this is my 13th year of training jujitsu. As of the beginning of May was the start of my 13th year of jujitsu training.
It's a long
I've never
time.
been without jujitsu. I've been like times where I wasn't training a whole lot. It was when I was a younger kid. It was when I was like 12 and 13 years old, when I was only training maybe like once a week or, a couple times every month or something like that for a little while. But other than that, I've been pretty much like all day training as much as I could. So, yeah, I've been doing
Absolutely.
jiu-jitsu for a long time, so I've had a chance to get good at a lot of things. And like how I kind of describe my training, I don't really focus on one thing too much. I just try and get better at jiu-jitsu all the time. And when you do that, certain things start to work for you, certain things don't work for you, and your jiu-jitsu kind of grows in different levels.
Right, right. When, like you said, you've been doing this for a really long time. When did you know? Like, when did you decide in your life, like, this is what I want to do? This is what I want to do full time?
So I decided that I really liked it after I competed for the first time. I mean, after I competed for the first time, I just had a lot of, that was when my love for it really grew, and I had a lot of excitement and passion, and competing is kind of what made me happy. Like training was really cool. I really liked to train, and I was really taking a liking to it, especially after my first 6 to 8 months of training. But as soon as I competed, I was like, man, this is way better. This is way cooler. This is what I want to do. Like I want to be a competitor. And that's kind of when I made my decision that I wanted to be a competitor. But when I made the decision that it's kind of what I wanted to do as a, let's say, like career, or this is like what I wanted my focus to be in my life, would be when I won my first major title in the IBJJF. It was 2011. I won the PANS, the juvenile blue belt division.
It's
And the
awesome.
juvenile blue belt division is always like super tough because it's always the kids. If you go back and you look at the results of juvenile worlds, you have, in my age division, me, and then you have so many other guys that are high level right now, like Orlando Montero, Isaac, whole lot of guys that are like now adult, high level adult black belts. And if you go back in time, you can see all the different juvenile blue belts that were competing and winning there, and some of them even losing there and ended up being black belt world champions. Bernardo Faria is a guy that was on there too. And there's a lot of different people that have been. So blue belt juvenile was really tough. I knew it was a huge challenge, and I did super well. So from that day, I was kind of like, this is what I want to do for my life. I feel like I can commit everything to this and be successful.
That's cool. As far as like competing goes, do you have something like in your mind that's like, that's my greatest accomplishment?
I mean, my black belt nogi world title is a big one, because that's kind of like I said at the beginning, and like I say whenever anybody asks me about it. When I started jiu-jitsu, you had to be a black belt world champion. You couldn't say shit. You weren't really anybody on the scene if you weren't a black belt world champion.
Right.
Nowadays, it's not the case. Nowadays, there's a lot of really good grapplers and guys who are among the best in the world and among the best submission wrestlers like of our generation that don't have results at the black belt level in Nogi world. So, I mean, is it like the biggest tournament in the world anymore? No, I think there's bigger, especially for Nogi, especially when you have ADCC. But it's definitely one that's crucial if you want to build a legacy. You have to have an adult black belt world title if you want to have a legacy and something to build around yourself and build your name.
Absolutely. And man, it's cool to hear that perspective. I've heard so many people be like, no, man, you don't need that. You can do all these other promotions, which, yeah, you can. They're cool. But at the same time, like you said, I do feel like it gets you more notice, and it's definitely a really good credential to have, especially like on your jiu-jitsu resume. Um, so like you were saying, it took us back to the beginning kind of. So let's talk about the difference between old school mentality and the newer mentality.
Yeah.
Do you do you feel like the newer mentality is better, or do you feel like there's some aspects from the old mentality that you wish you could still implement to this day or like enforce?
Um, as Yes. Do I think the new mentality is better? For some things, yes. For some things, old mentality is kind of still king. What do I mean by that? I mean that you should be able to cross train. I don't believe in this, this kind of thing. I believe you should be able to work together with people, and I see this kind of thing, and I mean that thing of like the old school vision around team. We have these huge teams like Alliance, Atos, all this stuff, and it's not really true because you and I could be on the same team, but we never train together. We train together once a year. We never see each other. You know what I mean? So that doesn't really mean that we're
Right.
on the same team. When you look at something like wrestling or you look at something like MMA, when these guys are going into combat, they're talking about teams that are specific gyms. It's this guy's an American top team guy, and this guy's a Black Zillions. This guy's Jackson Wink. This guy is trains at TriStar. It's like real teams, and it's the same thing with wrestling. When you get to the international level, there's the Penn State Club. There's the Iowa Hawkeye Center. There's all these different like training centers and facilities that have their own team. So you have all these guys from the USA. They're not representing just the USA. They can all fight each other because they're all on different teams. They're all training at different places. And even if they do train together or they do end up like working together, they can still compete. So I think the more that jiu-jitsu is evolving, I see that happening. I saw you see at ADCC this year, Cyborg's gym was housing guys from like all different teams. A lot of gyms had a lot of different people there. So I think that's a real thing. Um, the changing of that kind of label and the changing of the team aspect. What's some old school things I wish that you could like have? Um, I like that. I like in the like old school how it was kind of more about the, the discipline about everything, like the discipline about if you're competing in this, you're competing in that. I really do like that. I really do like the whole discipline around the gym and towards higher ranks, but I believe that it got a little bit out of hand,
Yeah.
and I believe some of the younger people have taken it in a direction a little bit too far for my liking, but I think the newer generation, most of us have a pretty good balance on it. I don't think there's this thing, like I said, you have to have a black belt world title and no gi. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that just because I'm a no gi black belt world champion that I don't fight anybody who's not a no gi black belt world champion, or I don't talk to anybody who's not a no gi black belt world champion or a gi black belt world champion. Like, you're not in some different league as a human being just because of that. Now there's a lot of
Absolutely.
other avenues to be considered a high level grappler and to be considered world class. You don't even need to have that. I'm talking about it from a legacy building standpoint. So I was offered a match with Ty Rotullo after I won a black belt no gi world title. He was 100% deserving in the match because we're in the new generation now. You saw what he did at AECC. You
For
saw what
sure.
he's done in professional grappling matches against other high level black belts. So obviously deserving of the title. An old school mentality would be offended by that, would be like, I can't believe this is offered to me, so
Yeah.
disrespectful. So I think I think we need to find a right balance overall. Like I said, I think some people have gone too far to the new mentality, and some people are just hanging on to that old school mentality, and it just doesn't do anything. I mean, just because you're a black belt and just because you're sweet at jujitsu doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean I need to, you know, bow down to you and kiss your toes or anything like that.
Right.
I can be very respectful to you without, bowing down to you and basically, thinking that somebody's like a lord over me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like one of the things that I've always, well, not always, but that I heard about with like the old school mentality is like I know in like Brazil it used to be, I don't know if it's still a big thing or not, but I know like if you went to another gym and cross trained, or like if you say you moved and had to train somewhere else, I heard that it's a common thing for them to like take your belt and you had to rank up again under them, and I was like, that's nuts. Why would you do that?
I think that things like these are the kind of things I'm talking about. The old school, this is
Right.
kind of it is kind of bullshit, and I think that is kind of a crock because things are given to somebody who earns it. Things are given to somebody who
Exactly.
deserves it. So if I gave you your blue belt, I'm not able to like take that back. it's looked at as rude just in the real world that if I give you a gift and get mad at you and I ask for it back,
Yeah,
that's looked at as something that's like that's unprofessional, that's very rude. That's
for
just
sure.
you're kind of a bad person. It's kind of a bad thing you just did right there. It's not a respectable action. So I think of that as the exact same thing with jujitsu, even to a higher degree. Like, how could I give you a belt and then take it back because what? Because I didn't like what you did? That's
Right.
just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Things like that, when you hear things like that, it's just so ridiculous, man.
Absolutely. So, man, would you ever want to go over to Brazil and train? And like, I know you speak pretty well Portuguese. So this is kind of two-part question. Would you ever want to go over there and train? And who got you started speaking such good Portuguese? And do you feel like that's something good to have for going to some of these competitions and hearing some of the referees or some of the competitors talk?
So like, when did I start speaking Portuguese? So I've always been around the heads of all the associations of people I was around since I was young. I've been around Portuguese speaking, Brazilian instructors, things like this. So who was like the first one I was around and got started on? I I can't even really put a finger on it because I've been around it for such a long time between seminars and taking seminars when I was younger and classes, privates, things like this. So
Okay.
I've been around it quite a bit. Do I speak it really well? I mean, I can put together a sentence or I can reply to certain things, but the thing is that I understand quite a bit. You know, if somebody's saying something kind of to the referee, I kind of understand what's being said. I can kind of interject with my broken up Portuguese a little while. So at least I'm just not completely oblivious. So I do think it is a good thing to have for what you said, being able to understand kind of what's being said around you so you're not getting blindsided because everybody who's competed um, is like speaking English or speaking another language and understanding Portuguese knows that there's some things that are said and some things that go on that might kind of fly over your head. So it's good to be
Right.
aware. Would I ever want to go to Brazil to train? I love my training here and I love the training I have set up across the country here. Would I ever want to have like other training in other places of the world? For sure. That'd be cool. If I went to Brazil or something, I would like more to go to the beach, kind of hang out. It wouldn't be my
Right.
first destination I chose to go train jujitsu at. Like if I had my option of like to go somewhere and train, I would pick a gym. Like I would pick to bring somebody into my gym or pick to go to another person I know and then I'm friends with that I can train with.
That's cool. I like that mentality. And like you said, like we said earlier, I feel like it makes stuff a little bit safer that way, just because you know them, you see them where you trust them.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure. It's always good to have people that you can trust and be comfortable with training that you can feel safe to try things on and feel safe to put yourself in bad positions, expose yourself to certain things, and trust that you're not going to get injured or trust that he's not going to take advantage of you.
absolutely. Um, Here's one that I don't think I've ever heard you talk about. Do you train a lot of like EBI overtime rules or like stuff like that as far as the overtime, I guess?
Oh, for like the EBI rules, the overtime, the
Yeah,
armbar, and escape or finish. Yeah, we actually
yeah.
do. We implement that. We implement all kinds of specific training. Like I said, those are the kind of things that are going to adjust the closer you get to tournaments as far as
Okay.
camps and things go. You know, if you're going to do different kind of specific trainings and have something different in your mind, you might do a specific training right now when there's no tournaments around the corner. And you might, if you get submitted, you don't care. If you escape, cool. But then when the tournament gets close, your mindset changes and you got to get out. So we do implement that quite a bit. And that is important, not just if you do EBI. I think that's important any competition you do.
Cool. I like hearing that. There's so many different views on that as far as, well, no, I'm not doing that. It's not realistic, which, I mean, it may not be, but at the same time, like you said, if you want to do some of these bigger tournaments, if you want to get to where you want to be, it's kind of needed.
100%. 100%. If you're not going to do it, I mean, if you're not going to do it, then don't complain when the money's not there. Don't complain when the offers to compete aren't there. The more rule sets that you do and the more comfortable you are in different rule sets, the more fights you're going to be able to take. Simple.
Absolutely.
if you're only good at one rule set or you only want to fight in one rule set, you're only going to compete in one tournament. You're only going to compete in one association. Don't ask for these different kind of. If you can only do EBI overtime, then you limit yourself to these other professional events that have sub only rule sets and that have 10-minute sub only refs decision at the end. If you don't agree with that or you're not comfortable competing at a high level at that, but you're a great EBI fighter, then it really doesn't matter.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Leon. I believe that will be all we have for today because I feel like I've taken up quite a bit of your time, and I really do appreciate your time and appreciate you coming on here.
No problem. I appreciate you. I hope you have
Thanks,
fun. I
sir.
hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get some good content out there for everybody dying to get back to train.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the day and hope your training is continuing to do well with all the stuff going on.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. See you later, Dante.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.